here we are once again, 4 years later, 4 years after the media thought that they had finally won, that celebrities thought that they had finally won. And woke Hollywood and the mainstream media, everybody did everything in their power to make sure that Kamala Harris got elected and not Donald Trump. That's not the way it went. Normal everyday Americans spoke out in force that they don't want to be lectured to by these lunatics, by these out of touch losers that are trying to tell them how to live their lives. And as a result, this is the image we get. And this is the headline we get from Rolling Stone. Convicted felon sworn in as president. The golden age of America begins now. Donald Trump told the wealthy and powerful gathered inside the Capitol Rotunda on Monday. Rolling Stone gonna Rolling Stone. No questions about that. And of course, you've got things like this, how Donald Trump will war with Hollywood while swiping all of its tricks. I mean, you knew that there were going to be some celebrities that had something to say about this, right? You knew there was going to be. Now, I'll be real. There wasn't too much on Twitter, mostly because so many of those people have like stayed away because they get ratioed on Twitter now. They get destroyed. Yeah, you had a couple every once in a while. You know, the Daily Show put out, you know, as of midnight, dry January is over. Everyone needs a drink, blah, 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 all that shit. But maybe the most interesting was, you know, Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill, who went to the DNC, who went to the White House, who used Star Wars as a propaganda piece to tell people to go fuck themselves if they vote for Trump, all of this shit. Mark Hamill, so stunning and brave, a couple days ago had said, raise your hand if you're not watching the inauguration, right? To get engagement over on his weird pedo haven liberal echo chamber blue sky. Well, he put out another post on January 19th. Now, he put this out. Let's see if we can find January 19th at 5:57, right? From midnight tonight until next Saturday morning. There's no TV, no internet, no social media, no nothing for me. Symbolic protest is better than none at all. Hashtag 5-day blackout. I don't know why blackout is in all caps. Well, you know, Mark Hamill then 8 hours later decided he needed to make another post because he forgot he has to virtue signal about Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So, yes, Mark Hamill then says this, justice is coming eventually. Hashtag Martin Luther King Day 2025. Now, to defend Mark Hamill slightly, just slightly, he did say that from midnight tonight until next Saturday morning, he posted this at 1:45 a.m. If he's in California, if he's on Pacific time, that is still before midnight. But it's just so fucking stupid. Why would you post this if you were planning on posting something?
I know. It's so weird, man. And so no TV, no social media, no internet, no, like, you're just gonna sit around in the dark for 5 days.
Well, Jeremy, some people can read,
so
but
like
the
point,
foreign concept to you, but
yeah, but like, so he's gonna sit and read in a fucking room for 5 days and protest, and that's supposed to hurt Donald Trump? That's supposed to hurt Donald Trump? Like, what is the point of the whole thing is what I'm asking.
It is supposed to help him and all the people that are dealing with this because they can't mentally handle it. They can't watch the inauguration. They can't watch this man. They can't see people talking about it. That's kind of what I think some of this shit is about.
And he did say no nothing for me. So no nothing for me. So
yes.
He's essentially saying nothing. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to sit around in a room by myself for 5 days and think about how Donald Trump is ruining my life. Go ahead and do that, Mark Hamill. Again, I've said this for years about Mark Hamill, and I think like it's not a point that I have to try to emphasize anymore, but Mark Hamill is arguably among the worst in Hollywood. And I know for a long time when the whole thing with like The Last Jedi happened, you know, a lot of people were sympathetic to Mark Hamill. Oh my God, I'm so sad for Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill's a piece of shit. Mark Hamill's right up there with the worst of the worst. And I think that that's kind of universally accepted at this point in time. It wasn't so much during The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker days, but I think it's universally accepted now how deranged he is and how much he hates your guts if you disagree with him and how skewed his worldview is. He is out there, and there's no coming back. He's gone. He's lost forever.
And, you know, there were some other people that did decide to chime in. Lily Reinhart, who's an actress, as a new Trump era begins. And a lot of these were posted on Instagram and things like that, despite them being pissed that Meta is now going the same way as Twitter.
What are they going to do? They're going to have nowhere to go.
As a new Trump era begins, I'm thinking of what men now feel comfortable saying online. The women, old and young, who read their words, and how a swell of virtual misogyny spreads into schools, offices, and bedrooms. And then post this about Martin Luther King, a real man who spread love, not fear, hate, racism, and misogyny. John Cusack.
Boy.
I recommend not to watch 1 second of the inaugural snuff film currently being broadcast. It is totally meaningless. Does that mean you watched it and gave your feedback, John? Kevin McHale, this dude was on Glee, famously as a homosexual. He said gender during his speech. Unsurprisingly, new old POTUS doesn't know the difference between sex and gender. Maybe the mentally ill people don't. Maybe the mentally ill people have tried to pretend something completely different. Adam McCaffer, 4 years of writing, yes, the Republicans are horrible too, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't hold Dems accountable. I'm now dusting off the old Dems are horrible too. Their betrayal of working people created Trump. Jamie Lee Curtis shared this to her Instagram.
Oh, boy.
In a time of hate, love is an act of resistance. In a time of fear, faith is an act of resistance. In a time of misinformation, education is an act of resistance. In a time of poor leadership, community is an act of resistance. In a time like this, joy is an act of resistance. Resist, resist, resist. And then she also shared this to her Instagram profile. Chance, I won't use the word fuck today. Red, none. Yellow, also none, but in yellow. Well, go fuck yourself, Jamie Lee Curtis, you old whore. Comic Lonnie Love, fat black female comedian. When a clown moves into a palace, he doesn't become a king. The palace becomes a circus.
Jesus.
Ariana Grande shared this from Trans Equality. Today's a tough day for our community. The incoming administration campaign on attacking trans people's lives, healthcare, and dignity, and we're bracing ourselves for what these extremists will do next. No matter what comes, we will protect each other. Phineas shares this. I think this guy's Billie Eilish's brother or something, and like helps write her music. I don't know if he actually has anything.
Was that Elon and Trump? Oh no, it's Trump being sworn in, and then you get the X Meta. So okay, that's symbolic of like the big tech social media supporting him as he's being sworn in. Does that say Uber, Apple,
Toyota, Goldman Sachs? And then this, I'm not gonna share this fucking video because it's Lizzo. But Lizzo shared a video on her inauguration thoughts. She drove home the point that for those feeling anxiety, fear, or any negative emotions, to lean on and build community. She explained everyone needs to check in on themselves, find ways to have constructive activism, and give grace. Please don't allow the ways of the world to change your world, she told her followers.
Jeez.
So yes, typical what we'd expect. But I do got to admit, it's way different this year than it was in 2016.
Yes,
there are way more celebrities, entertainers, things like that are showing up to the inaugural ball, that are showing up to this thing than there was in 2016 this time around. There's no doubt. There's some people that are like, okay, this is acceptable to get with this. So I'm going to go here now.
Well, to your point, significantly, I mean, if you look, like, was there anyone, how many of the people we just mentioned would be considered top tier celebrities at this point in time? Like, I don't even consider Mark Hamill. You know, because Mark Hamill's not a top tier celebrity. You know, he's a name that people know because of how long he's been doing it, and Luke Skywalker and everything like that. But none of those were major players. And that is a significant shift in what we saw from 2016 to where we are now. Also, as I talked about yesterday on CobraCast, Donald Trump is pop culture now. He is pop culture. I've even seen it with a lot of the Twitter accounts that would never mention politics. Now all of them, pop culture, related, that clearly lean left. Now they're focusing on reporting on Donald Trump, and not in a biased way, and they're getting so much traction out of it when they post about Donald Trump. They get so much traction because he is pop culture. Everything we saw last night with with the inaugural balls, with the performances, the energy was just completely out of control yesterday with what we were seeing. And you were sensing that the shift has happened. Now, again, doesn't mean that that anything has been won per se. Like, yes, Trump did win the election and he is the president, but there's so much more work to be done. And the way that Hollywood and the entertainment industry is going to react to all of this is going to be, it's going to be very interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. But Donald Trump is pop culture now. He absolutely is. He dominates the culture. He is a cultural icon, and that's only going to continue to build and build and build as we move further into his second administration. So here we go, baby. Let's go.
Here we go.
Loving it, loving it, loving it. It's great to see.